That is something you will never ever touch, you will never ever sleep with, you will
I'll
never feel
come to
like.
you. I'll come to you.
You will never ever
Chama,
feel like
I'll come to you.
every
I'll
day
come
I
to you.
sleep, every day I sleep and I see that trophy. That's
That
something you
is a
never. That's something
pre-season
you will
cup.
never.
Oh. I
You
knew
will
that
never
was
ever
the only cup
witness.
they would touch.
You see, husband knows the truth. He knows the truth.
I respectfully said,
Chama,
yes.
I don't know. What did you make of that game? Like I said, Brentford is not a team that is easy. Has always been easy for Chelsea.
Watch Brentford TV right now.
Yeah, I said the same opinion, but let's move to Brentford 2, Chelsea 2. I hear a lot of Chelsea fans going on Maresca, and I've noticed this all season for a while now. Once Chelsea wins a game, they rave over him. Once there's a game lost or not won, Chelsea fans will go on the coach this, coach that, Maresca this, Maresca that. And between Chelsea and Brentford, it's never really been a even before Maresca came in, the last 7 meetings with Brighton, Chelsea has only won once. They drew 3 times, and I think Brentford won 3 times. That was before yesterday. So it's not a place that a team that Chelsea has really had so much joy against. Nimi, I don't know. Why are Chelsea fans on Maresca, and what stood out for you? What did you make of that game yesterday?
Well, thank you for having me on the best podcast with the best analysts out there in the game.
Thank you.
Really appreciate that. First of all, what stood out? What stood out was the situation where things backfired. You know, Maresca had one eyes on the Bayern Munich game, so he felt, he could put in players that weren't, situated to play the game. You saw a situation where the defense, especially defense, you just don't, the two wing backs were changed. You have Fofana coming in, you have Tabo coming in from the left back situation, and you have Bonanote playing as a 10. So again, it was as a result of trying to save players for the Bayern Munich game, and that's where quality and depth comes in. So let's quickly analyze that game. Started the game, and after the first half, after a horrible showing in the first half, those substitutions were made. Substitutions were made. It paid dividends with a quick. You could see how
Impact, yeah.
quickly the impact was made. We saw the quality of the players. We came back towards the end. That's where concentration. That's where discipline comes in. Before Brentford scored that goal, you saw they tried that barely few minutes before they scored that goal. The same tactics. Brentford is known for Pillock is known for throwing those balls
Those
high.
long throws.
They are known for that. So these are things that people blaming Maresca. I look at them and I laugh. These are little things that you can't even teach. Your kids are supposed to know. They want to throw a long throw. Somebody's supposed to be at the post, at the far end post there, defending. You don't have 6, 7 people all drawn close to the goalkeeper to go ahead that ball. And these were schoolboy errors. And it was as if Chelsea gave up 3 points. That's what it was. We gave up 3 points for a game we're supposed to win. And, Garnacho lost concentration there, and we paid dearly. I'm hoping that with all the players rested for the Bayern Munich game, I want to see everybody firing in all cylinders when we play Bayern Munich, because I'm really, really disappointed. These were 2 points dropped. I'm supposed I was, by the weekend, I was thinking at most I will be chilling, sipping on some red wine, being in the second place position. And now I am in the 5th place position. I'm not happy about it, but as they say, we move. And we move, and we're going to put all those vengeance when we play Manchester United next week, Saturday.
I hear you there, Nimi, and all the things you said there, I agree with. Ugoma, I know we used to see this with Wenger in those days. We have a Champions League game, and not just Wenger, most managers from fan perspective, but who don't have all the information in the camp, will say the resting player for the game coming midweek. But sometimes this also has to do. It depends on the depth you have, the quality you have in your bench, in your options. that determines, the outcome, if that's what these managers are thinking about. And so in this regard, do you blame Maresca if he did that, or do you blame Chelsea board, who are in the business of just making money, letting quality players go in the name of balancing the book and leaving the coach with maybe 13, 14 players who are up to scratch in terms of quality, and then the other players are just there to make up the numbers. And when there's rotation, the quality of the team drops drastically.
Yeah, I would attribute mainly to the board. I do not the Chelsea's transfer strategy over the summer. I would love Nimi to probably say something about that. What does it think the board wants? I mean, are they looking to win the EPL? Because if they are looking to win the EPL, I beg to disagree with the approach they took over the summer. Yes, we can.
Last 2 summers now, actually.
Yeah. So we can revel in and give them massive credit for making over 300 million pounds, right? It would be great if you're making that money and you're also strengthening your squad, and aspiring for trophies. Yes, they won the World Club Championship over the summer.
They won the preseason game.
That is something you will never ever touch. You will never ever sleep with.
I'll come to you.
You will never ever feel like every day I sleep and I see that trophy.
That is a preseason combo. I knew that was the only cup they would touch.
You see, Osborne knows the truth. He knows the truth.
I respectfully said,
Chama,
yes.
I don't know. What did you make of that game? Like I said, Brentford is not a team that is easy. Has always been easy for Chelsea. Like in the last 7 meetings, they've only won once, drawn 3 times, and lost 3. So for Maresca if Maresca actually did rest players, do you think it was the right thing for him to do, considering the fact that the Bayern Munich might be a bigger fish to fry, or should he have just, or was he just a case of there was no right way, because he could have played those players and they got injured? People would say, hey, he had a big game on Wednesday and he played a full squad. Well, I don't know. What's your opinion?
I think Ugum did justice to whatever problems that they are having right now. Push a lot of guys that you need just to make the books look good, for their sakes. And then, I'm sorry, you are left with chaff. Okay, I know some people disagree with me, but it's okay. They'll say I'm just talking. Explain to me why would Maresca be making us feel or even consider that he's resting players? That is not even allowed. The same guy that won the Club World Cup shouldn't even be giving excuses of resting players. And as for them and Brentford, is a match made in heaven. Brentford is going to keep frustrating Chelsea. They know what I'm saying. Nimi, you understand me, right?
Yeah,
you understand what I'm saying?
I don't understand what I don't understand what you're saying. The season is just. The season is just.
Okay, let me ask you.
People said last season.
Let me ask you tactically on that game. Let's even break it down. I said something to Ify the other time that for me, Pedro is a fantastic footballer, but he's not a prolific goal scorer. Meaning that he's not an out striker for me. He's not built like an attack. He's more of a behind the striker kind of player. And I think that's how he was deployed yesterday. So tactically, how did Chelsea approach that game? How did they want to, get a win out of that game?
I think, from a tactical standpoint, he set up a 4-man back, but if you observe, it was more of a 3-man, and Hato was pulling into the middle, doing what Cucurella does often, and he had Bonanote as a 10 to support, to be that outlet for for Pedro, but it just didn't work out. That was Bonanote's first game. I watched Bonanote at Leicester. I watched him at Brighton. I don't think in terms of the EPL, he's a good number 10, but in terms of the hustle and bustle of a link man to a striker number 10, he's not a physical player. He could be creative, but there are many times the game just passes through him, and there are not much games you see Bonanote stamping his authority, even in the in a poor Leicester team, he wasn't a standout as a whole player. So coming into that game, what you talked about, Joao Pedro, if you watch the first half, based on these deficiencies of you didn't have players interconnecting well. Joao Pedro was dropping even deeper to come get those
Yeah,
balls,
exactly.
which left space where you had Joao and Gittins. And Gittins had a terrible stinker. If I never knew he was a professional player, I would have said, okay, maybe this guy was a Houston Green Eagles, one of these Houston Green Eagles players that we see every day come out here and play. He didn't show any professionalism. He was kind of slow, and he didn't beat players one. He's finding it hard to assimilate, and that's what happens sometimes when you go buy players from different leagues and you bring them to the EPL. The hustle and bustle is just too much on them. So tactically, I think Maresca set up his team as he's always set up his team, but with the wrong personnel.
Personnel.
Tosin was Chalobah was on frequency 100. You could get him. The radio station was clicking. You could get signal, and Tosin and Tosin was on radio Aba or something. The frequency was just horrible. You couldn't get him. You couldn't get. He was just slow. He was slow. Not it was just the players didn't come out to play. And if you observe again too, on the 50-50, you see Brighton came in to fight. I don't know if you guys saw that. They were physical. They came in to fight, and Chelsea players came in, just thinking it was going to be
like 3 points in the bag before they
3
even
points
came
in the
in.
bag. We already got this, and this is the EPL, man. You go play Sunderland, you go play Burnley. It's a different ball. This is not the French or the Eredivisie or Italian league. This is EPL. And they didn't come prepared, unfortunately, yesterday. But we move.
Yeah, we'll move on. We'll move on. Yeah,
we
it
move on
was,
Yeah,
to the
me
next
too.
it
game.
was a very, I don't know, Chelsea, like you said, Chelsea player at some point, maybe they thought they had that one in the bag, and all of a sudden, I remember Brighton scored that same goal against Arsenal 3 seasons ago, 4 seasons ago. I thought I just joined, and the people wanted to, that same throwing against Leno. Also, I remember first day of the season, they shocked Arsenal with that approach.